Good morning. Makes me think of that movie with Robin Williams. The Good Morning Vietnam. I've never actually seen that movie, but I've seen that part of the film or that clip. It's been referenced in enough television to make social connections and get used in other things. So, good morning, friends. Hope you're having a great day. It is Tuesday. It is 10 a.m. Good morning, Karen. All righty. Well, yeah. So it's Tuesday, and it is 10. And let's get going. A couple things coming up, or actually, two things coming up. Annual meeting celebration is on Sunday after second service. We will have pizza and some beverages. So I hope you want to come and hang out with us and get some free pizza. You can also watch at home, but you don't get free pizza if you don't come. So, unless you have a coupon for free pizza and someone will deliver it for you. But I'm not doing that. So, pizza, annual celebration. We'll look back at what the Lord did last year, and then we will look forward to this year. And we got some exciting things that we'll talk about. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a good time to reflect and to look forward. And then also men's breakfast is in 2 weeks, Saturday next week. So if you have a guy or you are a guy, we would love for you to come or invite him, make him come. It'll be a good time. And before we get talking about our devotion topic for today, I wanted to commend to you a resource. I get nothing for telling you about this other than I bless you. I want to recommend this to you. It's by Paul David Tripp. It's called Journey to the Cross. It says a 40-day Lenten devotional. So it's kind of meant to be read in the Lent season, the period of time throughout the year. This period of time in the year where believers spend some time intentionally reflecting upon and considering the cross and preparing their hearts for Holy Week and Good Friday and Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. So I'm personally on day 5, I think. Day 5, day 6. Day 6. So it's been really good so far. So I would encourage you to grab it. Even if you don't have it yet and you grabbed it, you wouldn't finish by Easter, but it would still be worth your time reading it and reflecting upon the devotional questions and the scriptures he points you to. It's really good. Or you could double up and whatnot, because technically Lent is it goes over a 7-week period because you don't traditionally count the Sundays for Lent, I think. So I'm not quite sure how it works. Ash Wednesday is 7 weeks before Good Friday, I think. Anyhow, you can tell how Roman Catholic I am in the fact that I don't fully know Lent. So I started on Ash Wednesday, which means I'm going to finish it like a week early. If you grabbed it today, like a Kindle copy, and you started it today, you would finish it like Easter or the day after Easter, I think. Or maybe Good Friday. I don't know. And anyhow, you could figure it out on a calendar. It would be worth your reading, even if you didn't read it in this time frame before Easter. It is intended to be read up until Easter, but it will bless your life either way. It'll bless your walk with the Lord and help you to reflect upon his goodness and his grace to us. So I would encourage you to grab it, grab a copy, read it, do the heavy lifting of it. Don't just read it and then not really interact with the questions, because the questions are really good. And so grab it. You can find it on Westminster Seminary's bookstore. You can find it on Amazon, Christian Book, or Paul David Tripp's website, I believe so. So grab it, read it, And if you are blessed by it, give someone a copy or share it with someone. So, all right. So 2 weeks ago, we were considering Philippians 4 still. And last week, we jumped onto the idea of taking our thoughts captive in light of Ravi Zacharias' fall, his abuse, his depravity, his sin. But this week we're going to jump back into Philippians, and so I'll bring my Bible thingy, my bobber up. All right, so let's go. All right. So this week we are going to reflect upon, oh, good grief, where's my mouse? There we go. We're going to reflect upon what is just. So 3 weeks ago, we reflected upon what is true. And we talked about how we want to reflect and we want to think about things that are true, not things that are false. We want to let truth be decided upon by Scripture, and let that be what dictates us. And then after that, 2 weeks ago, we talked about what is honorable. So whatever is honorable, and we said, what are the things that, get that off there. What are the things that we would look at and say, yes, these are praiseworthy things that are good and society and the world can look at and say, yes, this is good. I think of an example that comes off the top of my head is when someone is hurt and you help them, or when a tragedy occurs, a natural disaster occurs, and believers go in and help those communities, and how that is a witness for them. And we think about those honorable things. It's honorable to care for those who experience tragedy. Today, we want to focus on what is just. So this idea of just, do you want to see the fancy Greek word? Yes, no? Okay, I'm going to show you anyways. Dikaios. We'll even play it so you can hear it. Dikaios. So it's the word for righteousness or just, whatever, righteous or just. And so that is the word that Paul is using here to describe or encourage the Philippians to think about something. So he is telling them to think upon what is just. As we look at the world, we can see where things that are just occurs and things that are unjust occur. And what Paul is encouraging us to do is to think about, reflect upon, dwell upon the good things, the righteous things, the just things. Now, we need to make sure we qualify that in that this is biblically defined just, not world-defined just. Sometimes the world might define something as just that scripturally we would say is unjust. An example that comes to my mind quite easily is sometimes you see people who would say, well, it's okay for someone to steal from Walmart because the Waltons have billions of dollars, and so it's a good thing to steal from them. Well, no, that wouldn't be biblical justice. That wouldn't be just according to the Bible, because we are commended not to steal, even if the person is rich. We are not to steal from them. And so biblical justice would say that is not a good thing. Now, we're not talking about whether someone is the person being stolen from is theft from, oh my goodness. Blooper reel. We're not talking about whether the person who is being stolen from is just. That's not our question. But the question of the action of stealing from someone, is it just? No, because we are told thou shalt not steal. It's one of the 10 commandments. 7 or 8, right? Oh, murder, adultery, theft. 8. False witness, covet. So we don't want to dwell and think about those things. Now, that doesn't mean we put our head in the sand about it. What it does mean is we don't let it take up space in our mind as a good thing. We don't let it dwell. We don't let it take up residence as a positive in our brain. We can think of all types of things that we look at in the world, and they are unjust things. That doesn't mean we avoid those things, but we think about what is just, what would be right in the circumstances, not what is wrong. You can think of television shows or movies that portray someone as doing something that is unjust, but it's portrayed positively. I didn't watch the show, but I think the show Dexter kind of did this. The show Dexter made the anti-hero the positive person in the story. And so people would naturally be inclined to think of what Dexter did as positive. Now, I could be totally wrong in that since I never watched it, and so maybe I shouldn't speak to it. But we can think of examples in society where something that is unjust is being promoted and thought highly of, and in entertainment being portrayed positively. And that's not what we are called to think about. You think of certain music genres will do this quite readily. Actually, I think most music genres do this to some degree or another. You think about Bob Marley and his I Shot the Sheriff. Or you think of any number of rap songs that talk about things that are bad. Or you think of some country music where they portray getting drunk as positive, or like Carrie Underwood's one about destroying her ex-boyfriend's car because she's mad at him. That is not a just thing, and so we need to not let those things be the things we think about. We need to let the things that are just or good or righteous be the things we think about. So what are those things? We can think of a desire for justice when we see someone do something evil and wicked and they get away with it. We can long for that justice, and we can say, God, I want this to be made right. And we don't go and seek vengeance, but we leave it to the Lord. But we can desire for that justice and think about it. We can think about it and praise it when justice is had, when someone who breaks the law or commits a crime is found guilty and they are sentenced to prison and they receive justice. That is a good thing. We can think about that. Or if sometime down the line it becomes evident that someone was wrongly accused and the evidence comes out and they are released, they're freed, we can say it was good that they were freed. Because that does happen. And so we can think about and consider the just things. So this one I think is a little bit more clear. It probably doesn't, it's less likely to us think about the unjust things. I don't think we let them dwell in our minds as maybe we sometimes let falseness dwell in our minds, where we let false truths dwell in their false truth. That doesn't even make sense. When we let things that are false dwell in our brains, or when we let things that are dishonorable, unhonorable. Oh my gosh, I am on it. I promise I've drank in my coffee, but I'm like batting 150 at this point. It's like the catchers for the Angels for forever. They were always really good catchers, but they were terrible hitters. Except for Mike Napoli before he went to the Texas Rangers. And so I think with the idea of justice, or the idea of thinking about just things, we grasp this a little bit more, and we don't tend to reflect upon and let unjust things dwell in our mind. For the most part, but maybe that's an area where you struggle and you are prone to letting unjust things dwell in your mind. Maybe you've allowed the idea that robbing from the rich to doesn't matter, and it's okay because they have lots of money and it won't hurt them. And well, that's not just. That's not a good thought. That is not in line with Scripture. Or letting the poor be given favorable judgment according to the legal system against the rich. That is not biblical justice. Biblical justice says we all should be treated equally in legal circumstances. Our finances, our world position should not impact the judgment of the judge. A just judge rules based on the merits of the facts, not based on a person's position in society. And that goes both ways. The poor getting favoritism or the rich getting favoritism. No, they both should be treated equally in the court, according to the Bible. That would be found in the book of the law. So in the Pentateuch, there are qualifications for what justice is and what it is. And so we need to let Scripture inform our definition of justice, not the world's definition, because it is wrong for the rich to be wronged by the poor, and it's wrong for the poor to be wronged by the rich. And it's not based on their social standing or their finances. It's based on what is true, right, and good. And so let justice, let what is just, what is right, be the thing that informs your thinking and your thought processes and what you're reflecting upon. Let what is good, what is true, be what informs and what you think about. So, friends, I wanted to continue on in this, and so I hope that's an encouragement to you and an exhortation to reflect upon what is true. Maybe use it to consider what you're watching, if what you're watching is encouraging you to have a just perspective, or maybe consider what you're listening to, what you're reading, what news you're watching, what you're reading on the internet. We can find a lack of justness all over the place in those areas, and so let that inform what you're thinking and how you're viewing it, and if it's good or not. So that's all I got for you today on this. Hope to see you Sunday for annual meeting plus church. Church is more important than the annual meeting, actually, annual celebration. But both will be great. Excited to finish up the story of Lazarus's raising from the dead. It'll be a good reminder of God's goodness and why we can rest in him, and our belief can rest in him because he has power over life and death. So, if you need anything, let us know, and we're praying for you, and we will see you this weekend. Bye-bye.